Hello everybody. Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, they're right now on sale on GOG and I got them today. Now to make them work on SteamDeck, it is not as easy as other stuff that I have done through Heroic Game Launcher that you just put a command and it's working. For me that was not working at all no matter what I was doing. So I was almost giving up, but then I was like, you know what, no, I'm gonna do it. And I found a way. But the thing is, it is not, just clicking two things and it works. So for that, I'm going to show you how it looks with all the mods added on top of it, because it was too much work to just leave it running like the normal GOG version. So I added all of the latest mods that they have available for this trilogy. And all of them running the seamless HD above the Classic Rebirth something. The names are not really my favorite what they have chosen there. So you have some settings, you can do improvements and stuff. SourceNext though. And yeah, there we have it. Like you can see a little bit how the FMVs also look, so you can kind of see how much better stuff look now compared to the original. Nemesis. Alright. So let's get a little bit on the load game. Alright. And this is how it looks in game. The reason I did a lot of this stuff is because the mod also has a lot of easy things like rebinding controls. The default versions from GOG are atrocious. You have to use all of the things, not like normal gamepad controls. You have to map your whole thing into the keyboard controls, because it is very old PC versions, and I don't even think you could have like normal pad support back then. So all of that is very limited and you had to do a lot of stuff. So I added these mods because it just made life very much easy. And if I forget something, I'm not gonna have to look all through the guides again. So I think this looks pretty good. And since everything is working for Xbox controller. Alright. So now that you saw how it looks and how the FMVs also look with the updates, let's head into the desktop where I'm gonna show you what is going on with this. Alright, and here we are. So first things first, you have to make a choice here. And the choice is if you're actually going to use the GOG version of the stuff or you're going to use the SourceNext version, which I'm not gonna tell you where you're gonna get, but it is there at the vaults of the internet, okay? You can find it if you really look hard enough for it. So no links or that if you want to have an easier life, because all you do through downloading these two things, and I say this with the nicest thing as possible, you have to download this two stuff and you have to download it in the Japanese language to make the mods work. And what we are doing with this is that we are building the SourceNext version manually. And that sounds very stupid, doesn't it? There are so many guides how to make things work, specifically if you have the SourceNext version to the Steam Deck. So, to make your life easier, I would say if you don't want to bother building your own thing, you can just find those things and you can look the tutorials after on how to make that SourceNext version work on the Steam Deck. And that is all I'm gonna say about that. So if you want to prepare yourself to do this, because I did this, it is not the worst thing of the world, but it is more steps. So more steps, more headache, and if something goes wrong, you're questioning why this is happening. So you download this stuff, then where you're gonna go next or like you have the SourceNext version, you're gonna go to Lutris. And the way that you get around, because that's the problem, that's why I'm suggesting the SourceNext version, is because it is not one place that you can just find the conversion patches. So what if you want to do this like I did, you have to look specifically, and because those files are not mine, I cannot share them with others. So you have to look specifically for something called unofficial conversion patch for GOG version for, you know, whatever Resident Evil game. The first game doesn't need it, but the other two need it. So Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, they need the conversion patch. The first game doesn't need it. So after you do this, and you have whatever you select to do, it's either being the SourceNext version or whatever it is that you will have to install it through Lutris. Now Lutris, you can get it from the Discovery Store. If you're going to follow this tutorial, you can know, like you probably know how to use the Discovery Store. So you go here on a Windows game from an executable, you name it whatever you want. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to see before you do any of this, how much work you're gonna put for the result that you saw. And then normally you will press create a Steam shortcut, but I'm not. And we're gonna go here, and whenever you have downloaded the files or whatever it is, the SourceNext or this version, you're gonna go on here and you're gonna find, if you're using the Japanese version, again, as I said, you have to use the Japanese versions in order to create the SourceNext version. For the first game, again, you don't need to do that. So you select that, okay, and then you press install, and it's gonna start doing some things. If you get some pop-ups that you don't see here, all you have to do is press okay and whatever. Because when I was looking at some guides, I was getting pop-ups that other people didn't get the pop-ups on the tutorial, and I didn't know why, but I just pressed OK and it moved on. So now you're gonna get a normal Windows installation, you press OK, and then you press install, and whatever, right? So I'm not gonna do the install because I already have done this, but after you finish, it has, here it's gonna have launch, and here it's gonna have exit, so you just exit. And we just exit from here, and okay, all right. Well, abort. Okay, we have some problems here as well. So yeah, overall, like after you've done this and you're gonna have one of these things here, then you will want to go to browse files, right? And everything is happening from here. So after, you're probably gonna watch a tutorial that has everything in there, and you see the unofficial SourceNext conversion patches. That is the most annoying part. This is only for Resident Evil 2 and 3. So if you're using the GOG versions, you need this. And if you're gonna watch the tutorials for the other stuff, everything else is normal. Like you don't really need for me to say anything. And all you have to do is from here on, you have to do some drag and drive. But in some situations, you have to be careful because this is, I learned it the hard way. You see here it says Z movies like this. If on the other folder, the Z movies is like this, the folder, it's not gonna replace the stuff. So you have to do manual labor and go into this thing and copy them and put them into the file, you know, you put it into this folder directly in order for this stuff to work correctly. Because sometimes it happens, I don't know if Windows can just replace it, they're not case sensitive, but here everything is case sensitive. So you have this kind of stuff to just be aware of. Now another thing, when you're using this and you're watching some tutorials, they're gonna talk about using, because no one was talking about this, no one got that problem there. you're gonna have to enable, when you're using the mods, you're gonna have to enable this thing, that DgVooodoo, right? Whatever version they tell you to do, you do that. So you're gonna use the version that they want you to do, but the problem is that you will have some kind of watermark. I don't know why I had it, maybe it's the default, but I had no information anywhere about how to remove it. It was a huge watermark on the edge of the screen, very annoying, saying DgVooodoo with huge letters. So in order to remove this, you have to find this file here, and you have to go a little bit above here. You have to go around here that says DgVooodoo watermark. There is no other option. You have to find the configure file, and it's here. It says true. I swapped it to false. Then I saved, and then it was gone. It was gone for all the games. This is something that is on your specific folder in your SteamDeck. It doesn't have to do specifically only with this thing here. So as you see, because it has this little thing, it means that it's hyperlinked to somewhere else. So to find this folder, let me just change here. In order to find this folder, you have to go from here, from your GOG. Let me just show you here. All right, drive C. Then you have to go to users, Steam user. Then you have to go to app data, roaming, DJ freaking voodoo. And then you do this, right? You change what I said, and that watermark of hideousness gonna go away. And that is all. That is all the advice I have for this thing. As I said, this is not a tutorial, but this is issues that I had, and just to make your life easier. Especially for me, looking for this information, for this DgVooodoo stuff, and to find the unofficial patches, it was really annoying. So again, this is not a tutorial. There are tutorials out there, just watch it from there. It's mostly just drag and drop and replace some stuff and some command lines here. But I don't remember what stuff I changed anyway, so that's why this is not a tutorial. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, you saw the result. If you feel that you are up to do something like this, you can do that. And if you have, then you just press to create a Steam shortcut, and you can have it on Steam. And then if you have SteamDB, that database thing that you can just change the avatars, you can just change it to whatever you want, like I did, and you can have some nice customizability around it. So that was really the situation here. I suggest you to create folders for each separate game when it comes to modding stuff, because if you don't, you're gonna mess up. You're gonna replace something from one mod to another, and it's gonna be a mess. So again, thank you for watching. If you stick to the end, if you feel like you need a tutorial, there are some people. I think heaps of games. He has pretty good tutorials. He goes pretty in depth. I watched his at first, but then when he was doing the others, it was all about the SourceNext version, and it was annoying for me because I couldn't find the files that I needed to do that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is what you should expect to do. If you are in for it, you get pretty amazing results. And I have to say, one of the reasons that I did all these extra mods is because normally, if you didn't do all these mods, you will have issues specific on the Steam Deck, like the FMVs wouldn't work at all, or they would be like tiny FMVs, and it's going to be here on this corner. It's like 120p with 120p. And all those stuff were annoying. So I ended up modding it fully, and yeah, that's pretty much what I did. But it worked, and I love Resident Evil, so I don't care. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye, 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 bye.